Hey guys, welcome back to the Interceptor. We are here with another season of Alliance War, and this is the first war of season 33. Now, this happened 3 days ago, but as you can see right here, trying to turn my face cam on. I just got back, so I have not been at home. I've been in Montreal for the last 5 days. I literally got back today. Got my Montreal hat, my jersey that I wore when I went to the game. I'm going to turn the face cam off just because it usually goes behind and then looks bad like it did on the season rewards video. But today, ISO8A has matched up against RRH, or Guerreros de Wakanda. And these guys are usually Platinum 1, so we knew we would probably win, but we do have to put up a good score. And actually, we did not have any assignments this war. What I mean by that is the planner that normally does our wars was on vacation. And normally I would do it if I wasn't also on vacation. It just so happened I was on vacation at that exact same time. So what one of the other officers suggested is that we look at the map and we say what paths we can take. So I saw some paths. I was like, okay, that kind of makes sense for me, and I can take these minis if you want. They said yes, so I joined. And that's pretty much it. Although I did wait for everyone to get assigned this war. Next war I don't wait because I'm specifically told to join it early. But this time I waited for everyone to get their paths assigned just in case we needed to switch something. And also I wasn't fully available the whole time. So we are starting up on path 8 in section 1. And we have the Chavez up first. Now, while I could have easily done this fight with Hercules to get a few charges, I am actually going to use Magik. I forgot to show their bans, but I'm pretty sure they banned Quake, Corvus, and Ghost. No, actually, I'm certain those were their 3 bans. It was Quake, Corvus, Ghost. Because one of the fights that I'm taking would normally get taken by a Quake, and you'll see that. But this is a pretty straightforward node, so when they changed this node, they took away the heal block that was on it, so technically I could use half suicides, but America Chavez, she takes a lot of damage. She doesn't have a very good defensive bulkiness to her, so I didn't worry about that. Also, she doesn't charge her heavy a single time in this fight because I don't let her be near my block unless she is stunned. As like right there, or unless I'm intercepting with an L2. But even if she did, it wouldn't really matter because she would have to do it 3 times before there's even a chance of triggering her reverb, unless I counter her heavy in the middle like an idiot. But here we are going on to the next fight. Now, I thought this fight would actually be a lot faster than it ends up being. This is a rank 3 6-star Killmonger, and the node is Rich Get Richer Personal Fury, which means that if he has the Personal Fury, he is going to be constantly gaining Furies the entire fight, and I'm not going to be able to ever stop it unless I turn Dex on, but that's only going to temporarily stop him. And what I was trying to do here is I was trying to get him to throw a heavy attack, but instead he did 9 hits into my block before he ever gave me an opening by finishing a 5-hit combo into my block. The reason I did that is because if I start the fight off with a parry, he gains power, and then when I trigger reverb, he actually does damage. Whereas if I bait out a heavy trigger reverb when he has 0 power, then his first set of reverb does 0, and because I'm power locking him with Magik, every following set will also do 0. So, I mean, in 45 seconds, we have him below half health, so we're doing pretty good damage. That's not really the issue. The issue is, at this point, he has 38 Furies, and it's kind of starting to tick up against my block. If at this point I just said screw it and gone for an L3, my L3 with all those active Furies would have absolutely have killed him, but I didn't. I just kind of stuck to my L2s. Right there, it was critical I threw my special 2 in that moment because he had 0.8 bars and reverb was just going to come around. So I was going to take a lot of reverb damage if I had not done that. But luckily, the good thing for me is that despite the fact that I'm taking all this block damage, I'm actually able to heal most of it back due to limbo, which is really clutch. So we did end with 68%. Kind of overlooked that a little bit, but I also knew that the Fury wasn't super potent, so I didn't have a ton to worry about. Now this fight, when I initially scouted the map, I mentioned, oh, I'll just take this fight with Hercules because you guys have seen me take it before. There is one major difference, of course, but I'll get to that. And they actually assigned this fight to a Nimrod. So I said my Hercules fights on the boss fight are going to be a little more sketchy if I have less charges. Is there any way that I can take this kitty so that I can get two more of my charges for the boss island? And they're like, yeah, sure. And then like they know I've taken the fight before, so I got my intercept cleanly. I got my heavy attack, and then we're gonna do the exact same strategy as last time by just doing the bait out a heavy attack and then do medium light into special 2. No intercept, of course, because they would just miss. But the main difference, if you'll notice, between this fight and the last time I did it, the last time Kitty Pryde died in 2 special 2s. This time I believe it takes 4 or even 5 to kill her. Now right there, since she had just thrown the special 2, I was actually able to intercept with my special 2 because I know she had no prowess. Sorry, she threw her special 1, that's what I meant to say. But the main difference is in that fight, it was my 3rd Hercules fight. So at that point, I had 6 charges, plus I had the... plus I believe I got 2 of the heavy charges off on that one. So I actually had 9 charges, as opposed to the 4 that I have in this fight. So that's like a 50% difference in damage from my passive damage. So that's why it took so much longer. But we still got it down, and I still ended with almost all my health, so I'm pretty happy with that. Just took some block damage, of course. And now we're going to go clear our last 5 fights. So I did actually get a lot of fights this war. I got 8 fights, which is pretty nice. So we're going to be healing up Magik, and we're healing up Hercules because I have fights with all of them. My Warlock fight... I only have 1 Warlock fight, actually, right? Yeah. At this point, I have 3 Hercules fights, a Magik, and a Warlock fight. I only had 1 Warlock fight this entire war, and it's actually the fight that I come closest to dying in, so that'll be fun. So this is on Path 1, Section 2. This is the new Path 1, where the regen is actually a lot more potent than it used to be, and I just have to watch out that if I let him regenerate a bunch of times, he will go unblockable. But I'm not super worried about that. I think I was supposed to use... well, actually, no. My original plan, I was going to use Warlock for this fight. But I just wanted to grab some extra Herc charges before going in to the boss island. And I think that was the right decision. But you'll notice the regen here is actually quite potent. There's a lot of regeneration going on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go for my L1 and then my L2 just to get off a little more damage. Unfortunately here, the last hit of the L1 is while he is unstoppable. I get really unlucky with the global triggering unstoppable. So here I'm going to wait out the unstoppable from the global to see if it triggers, and then I'm going to intercept with my L2, and now I've got both my buffs up, so I'm doing a lot of damage. You'll see my L2 did a lot there, and then my combo kills, which is actually pretty sweet. I did a lot of damage there. And we're going to go up to our next fight, which is our last Magik fight. This is going to be Mojo on Buffet. Now, this node still is Buffet. It's just weirdly worded. So, like, they change it to Buffet over time. It doesn't actually change anything. It's still Buffet. It's just that if you trigger it a certain number of times, now the defender goes unstoppable. I've taken this fight before with Magik. It's insanely easy. We're just never going to do that. We're never going to trigger a buff the entire fight. Because why would you trigger a buff with Magik? If your opponent isn't throwing specials, there's no reason to trigger buffs with Magik. I'm going to be pairing while I have Limbo as much as I can. I don't even think I put Mystic Boost on for this fight, honestly, because it was just the one Magik fight. I'm pretty sure I didn't throw Mystic Boost on, which is probably the correct decision with the increasing cost of loyalty towards our towards Alliance War. That was probably the correct decision just for the one fight. But yeah, it's kind of hard for me to find something to say over a boring fight like this. It's just like, why is Mojo here? It doesn't make sense. Torch could do this. Archangel could do this. Anyone can do this. Warlock can do this. Hell, Hercules could do this. I'm positive Hercules could do this. And Hercules is one of the worst Mojo counters in the entire game. He could do this. Anyways, Magik. So this is a brutal fight. And I don't have a White Mags pre-fight for it. This is Kitness Thorns, Buffet, Magik. Now, luckily, this person is running willpower. I had someone check. I had by the time I had someone check, they'd already taken the fight from this person's defender. But I just had them. I just asked them, and then they sent the video of taking the fight, and I saw that the person did have willpower. So right there, I don't know if you noticed that. You might not have noticed it. What I did is I triggered Dex right before my armor up came back, and that's just gonna prevent Buffet from triggering all the time. Now, obviously Magik is immune to both armor breaks and bleed, so my only source of power drain is going to be from Resonate, and you'll notice right there, unfortunately he interacts with the global. So while his personal unstoppable was active, he was able to become stun immune, and then he threw his special 2. So at this point, I'm very low on health. So my idea for what I'm going to do in this fight is I am just going to hit him with basic combos, no more special attacks. I'm going to parry a bunch to try to get the power drain from that, and I'm going to watch the global, and I'm going to just do basic hits, keep up my Resonate, try to get him to not throw a special attack. I did throw a heavy attack there. I'm not sure why. It probably wasn't the best decision, and he actually does go unstoppable there, so it doesn't end up mattering. But yeah, we're going to try to make a comeback. If you'll notice, my health is actually at 19%. The Assassin Mastery doesn't start triggering until 18%, which I do believe I get down to 18% eventually, but I don't think it ever makes a parry fail, to my knowledge. Yeah, I don't think it does. Let's see, that's 2 parries that could have failed. 3 parries that could have failed. 4 parries. Okay, so even if he was running Resonate, it wasn't the world's highest chances for them to fail, and I was actually aware that I was in Assassin's range, so I was watching. I was waiting for parries to fail, and I was sort of delaying my counter by like a millisecond to look for it, but it did work out. We did make it out of the fight. And believe it or not, that is not the closest I come to dying this season so far. It is not. And you'll see that in the next war, which happened this morning as I'm recording this. So I did have to switch masteries here. I had to turn off willpower because I'm fighting Warlock on the boss island. But it goes okay. You'll see that fight. I'm maxing out Limber, and I didn't really have anywhere else to put those points. I put them back into willpower for the next war because I was taking a fight that could have poisoned me, and you'll see that. I actually did get poisoned. But we're going to be healing up Hercules. He is our last 2 fights, so I don't have to worry about healing up Warlock, which is pretty nice. We're going to throw on our advanced power boost here, and this is just going to take us through our last 2 fights. In hindsight, I probably should have gone with a special 1 boost. Or sorry, excuse me. I shouldn't have gone with special 1 boost. I should have gone with an vulnerability boost. But it didn't really matter. So I throw my special 1 here. And I did parry there by accident while trying to just block normally. But obviously Herc is stun immune at the expense of one of his charges. So it's completely irrelevant. But the only real thing to do is to try not to parry. And unfortunately, he actually goes unstoppable and hits me with a heavy attack there. But that's the only time that I get hit in this fight. Or it's the last time at least. And then right here is actually going to get quite stingy. He's not going to throw his special 2, so I have to dex a heavy in the corner. I had to counter, trying to push him back. I'm going to hit him 1 more time, and then luckily he throws his special 2. Even if he hadn't thrown the special 2, I could have just killed him in this combo. If I had done that extra medium and it crit, it obviously would have killed. If not, would have left him at 1%. But I wasn't really incredibly worried about his L3 in that moment. But that fight goes down. We did take a little bit of damage. And our last fight this war is a rank 3 6-star Peni Parker on node 55 Limber Brute Force with the evade auto block power gain node. And this is actually quite annoying because, as you'll notice, right at the start of the fight, I do take a few hits into her block, just trying to remove her shield, and then I'm actually going to intercept with a special 1. I don't really know why that failed. I think it either has something to do with Peni's abilities or it has something to do with the node. I genuinely don't have a clue. And then there I got hit trying to dash back, so at this moment I was like, okay, first things first, remove brute force. Second, bait L2 and block it all. So I did that. I dex out of the way. And at this point, Peni's getting pretty low. Now, I did kind of have a moment here where I could have saved the fight and made it go way, way better. I could have baited this L1, and then I could have not thrown that heavy attack. I should have dashed back. I should have hit into the block, because at this point, with 39 charges left, all I have to do is hit into the block 4 times and I'm fine. But luckily, the L2 gives me enough space that she's not able to counter. I threw the L2 into her and she auto-blocked it, and I killed her. So I did get very low, but I did not get into my, what's it called when you go unblockable with Hercules? Immortality. It's called Immortality. So yeah, very, very eventful first war. 8 fights to start off a new season. I'm pretty happy with that. And we did win the war. The score was like 5-22 or something like that. We won by a very, very big margin. And we are now 1-0 on the season. Our death total is at 0. My PSR is at 8 out of 8 or 100%. And my Deathless streak is at 14, carrying over 6 fights from last season. So that is going to be all for today. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video.